Good morning. So today's blog is a little bit kind of all over the place, but the big, the big finding that's just undeniable this week is that people are going to be going back to the office sooner than later, like it or not. I was uptown on Monday around 5:30, 6 o'clock, something like that, and people just rushing out of their offices. So it's definitely happening. I also am writing this week about, I had 3 different sets of friends in town who had not been here for 2 years or whatever. So I was asking, one group was from Europe and the others were from the States, and I was asking them about their sort of observations about New York, what had they seen. And I've been here the entire time, and it was just kind of, my jaw kind of dropped because I had seen the city in a certain kind of way, because I've been here when everything was shut down. So to me, it's like, oh yes, everything is like totally back to bustling and whatever. And then you listen to people who are seeing it brand new, and oh my God. So anyway, a lot of grime and a lot of crime that we in New York have to deal with. And I'm talking about a bit of that. It was sort of interesting, actually, in terms of the crime. I saw somebody had written this op-ed on how the sort of very progressive kind of, DAs who won't send anyone to jail, people are, we had that horrible guy in New York who rubbed his feces into a woman's face and hair on the subway. Anyway, so this writer says, well, basically all of these weak on crime, progressive concepts are basically really anti-woman. And then they listed all these women just in this year alone, we're March 11th, that have been killed by strangers, and the strangers were often homeless people or whatever. Whereas in 2018, not a single woman in this country, in this city, had been killed by a stranger. So anyway, so I have a feeling that kind of line of thinking might get some traction, to get some action on what is happening, not just in New York, but in a lot of cities around the country. It's really kind of awful. Anyway, so that's happening. But then I'm also writing about, I'm obsessed with these guys who are like these amazing YouTubers or, Twitch streamers. So MrBeast, who I wrote about before, so Joe Rogan just discovered him, and he's doing this interview with him, and there's like a 15-minute segment that I've included, and it's so amazing. So, even though none of us are like YouTubers or whatever, but just to learn and to get into the brain of those people who are into it is phenomenal. So I highly recommend you watch, especially the MrBeast one. And, he was 11 when he started, and he's super obsessed with it and brilliant. I think he's kind of on the spectrum, quite frankly, but please watch this 15-minute video with him. It's kind of amazing. And then I also put in the video, the interview with Colin and Samir with this guy Ludwig, who is the top Twitch streamer, and who's just switched from Twitch to YouTube. And he also talks about these issues he has with YouTube and why that community is not as good and all that. And he talks about how on Twitch the community is so strong, you actually type differently than you do after just being on there for a few days. So it's kind of, that to me is really super fascinating. And then finally, big shout out to this Dr. Madow, David Madow, who I discovered on YouTube. He's with El Paso Manual Physical Therapy. And he has these, I have hip arthritis, osteoarthritis. So he has these exercises, and I've been doing them for about maybe 2 months. It's like 20 minutes a day. And oh my God, the difference, it's been an absolute game changer. So I know it's very common to have, hip arthritis for any of us over 50 probably. So check this out if this is an issue for you, and just so grateful to have discovered him and for him to be doing these exercises on on YouTube. You know, it's totally free. I subscribe to his channel. And that's it. Also, Brad had a great opening in Scottsdale. I mean, I was following along on like Instagram and stuff, and it looked awesome. I can't wait to get out there in, I'm going out there in April. And if anybody else is going to be there, the show in Scottsdale runs through October, and it's really quite a spectacle. So check it out. And that's it. So I will be back in your inbox next week. Ciao.